It's 8:04. Well, um, let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. If we have a quorum, we're just waiting on our Bob, and then he'll hop in. And so, did everybody get a chance to review the minutes? Did anybody have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll approve the minutes.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, good deal. So, no visitors, as far as visitor comments, right? I mean, Eric, do you have anything you want to add? You'd be the only visitor, really?
No. Mara handles the city side very well. I'm here to absorb it all.
Sounds good. Well, I mean, the biggest thing is our old business is that the BDC working group recommendations, kind of recapping where we're at and then figuring out where we want to go with them. So, going through the minutes, I mean, we started kind of breaking down these bullet points last couple months here. We just have to figure out what we want to do with them, I think, is the biggest thing. So, kind of where to go and going from there. And so I know, like, the inventory, we can review information that's currently available in the business license database, in the city database. And then we have to figure out where we want to do with the categories and stuff like that. And this goes hand in hand with the new city website, right, Mara?
Yes, and actually that's being worked on by the clerk's office along with Jenny. So Jenny Starkey and Jennifer, called the two J's. Jenny and Jennifer are both working hard on the upgrades and looking at what the options would be. And there will be, I'm sure, an update that will come to you all.
Okay, good deal. Well, it's nice having Jennifer on that project too. So Jenny and Jennifer, but they'll help us out with that. So, what do we think of the item, unite the businesses in each area around the specific project? What do we want to do with that? So, anybody want to discuss?
Well, I'm new to this, but I like that idea because it gives people a way to get themselves focused together and build some camaraderie. And I'm not saying that there isn't camaraderie because I just don't know. But when I heard that, I thought that was a pretty good idea. Gives them some focus on their business district.
Yeah, I think so too. Tim, what do you think? I mean, do you think that, I mean, representing Old Webster, do you think that you could get people together in Old Webster, that we could, do something joint with the other districts and, the businesses that potentially aren't in the district, some sort of service project or something like that?
Yeah, I think Old Webster would be up for anything. It's, as unfortunately we've discussed, it's the other districts that it's hard to get them to commit to anything.
I agree.
I don't think me getting people behind us to do anything would be a problem on that district's, our district side, but it's more the other ones that we need to figure out.
I agree.
I have a simple idea that because I have a son that has a business over on Marshall, and whenever Webster does those big downtown events and they have the trolley and everything, I always chime in like, why doesn't the trolley take them all the way over there? Or frankly, why doesn't the trolley take them up to the Crossroads area or to Old Orchard? So I guess my overarching strategic idea for that would be to be more inclusive for some of those times, because Webster centers around Old Webster, and during those times people are out, they're looking, they're curious, they're trying to make a day of it. So uniting the business districts every now and then might also be a good idea.
Well, in that's fine, but again, each of those districts have to have something to offer in order to make it worth the trolley going there. And secondly, Old Webster pays a lot of money to put that event on. So to take people pay all that money that the businesses do, and then take the people out of Old Webster is kind of hard.
Unless they participate, unless
Well, what would have to happen is they would have to bring people into their districts also that are bringing people into Old Webster then. So it's a deal. Old Webster's not here to, fund the rest of the districts just because we have participation. We need participation out of these other districts.
Right. I'm just suggesting some synergy for the city of Webster. And I'm not saying they should do it for free or that they shouldn't have something to offer, but it would give them some cohesiveness and maybe benefit from the behavior of your business district's strategies and tactics, their own thinking of how to get going.
Yeah, I know. I mean, our challenge here for years, as far as uniting the businesses, is getting in touch with people and getting them to be responsive, right, Tim? I mean, you've been on this for a long time too, and so, and Mara, I mean, I know you've said a lot of times that we've got active businesses, obviously, and we know who a lot of those business owners and businesses are. But our challenge is getting the inactive businesses to be part of the group, even as small things as wanting emails from us and so wanting to know what's going on. I mean, yeah, it's been a challenge. So,
I mean,
Mike, with that in mind, oh, sorry. I thought
you also have, I mean, and we deal with this in Old Webster with the Great Frame Up, initial design, or No Birth Occasion. These are people that have been very active in the past in the trade association that no longer do anything. They pay their dues, but they are not part of it. I don't see. It depends on which manager of Straub's is there if they're going to. So you get even people in ours that have done this for years, way longer than I've done it, that are just tired of doing these things. And so I think you get a lot of places like in Old Orchard where you used to have people like Weber's and other places that were part of this that are just tired of it and don't want to do it anymore. And so they don't jump in. And if you have your big guns not doing things and not wanting to be part of it, it becomes a problem. Luckily with us, we have a lot of people that are still involved in Old Webster, whether it's been turnover or, CJ Muggs, we don't get anything out of them. The treasurer used to be part of the block. We have our own issues inside of Old Webster with people that they still pay their dues because they know what they get out of it, but they don't participate. So you get these other districts, Heidi Butts, Dr. Butts, the orthodontist on Crossroads. I mean, she doesn't do much. She's part of things, but she doesn't do a whole lot just because she's been there forever and doesn't want to keep going down the road. And so I think you have a lot of burnout with these businesses in the other districts.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, Rebecca. Oh, sorry, Andrew, go ahead.
just one thing. So on this idea of having an event or something that unites or brings businesses together, that's a really good strategic planning item. It looks good on the paper. But from what I'm hearing practically, it's, you probably somebody has to get really creative and think of an activity that's going to actually practically motivate meaningful participation, right? And that may not be viable. I mean, I don't know. Well, I'm happy to think about it, but maybe that's not the most efficient or practical path. And it may be, I mean, I think what we're trying to do is be available as a commission. The commission's mission, right, is to bring together, provide resources, and connect these disparate business districts, right? But it sounds like there's some real practical challenges to doing so. So I think one thing we should probably focus on is taking steps just to be there for everyone and fulfill that function, which we probably already, which I understand we're already doing, but have resources available, have forums available, communicate regularly with everyone, and find activities that make sense for those who want to participate and that help those who want to participate. So for example, when new businesses come in, which is occurring, they have these resources available to them and they know that they can seek advice from the commission. They know the commission's going to be at their meetings, et cetera. But it sounds like if you want to go to another level and try to create more synergy amongst the business district, it's almost a deeper strategic plan that requires educating, informing, and motivating business owners as to why it's in their best interest to participate, and that may or may not even be feasible. So, I mean, that's just random observations about the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, and I think probably, you know, something that we've talked about a lot as far as, you know, the inclusivity, is that the word? Is working on some of the businesses, or just unifying, you know, businesses that are not in the business districts at all, that are, you know, that we're not getting in front of. Because I think we're doing a good job and a better job having representation at all of the meetings as far as, you know, Crossroads or Old Orchard, Old Webster. But, you know, Laclede Station, Watson Corridor, or like Marshall Road, yeah, we don't have access to them in the same type of forum. So I don't know what necessarily to do on that. But you know, I think that's something that they may not even know that we're here, you know?
So I have more to offer. Basically let's talk about this from two angles. The problem is there's business to consumer and there's business to business. And the business to consumer people benefit from these joint activities that bring more people into their market space. The business to business people don't get it. I walked from the pool to my house on Jefferson last week with my 5-year-old granddaughter. It was hot. We took 2.5 hours to do it. We went in little stops along the way, and one of those was going along the shops on Big Bend. Well, she looked in the window of every single one, and for the most part, I came away saying, why don't we have a design district? Because there was like only 2 business to consumer, well, I guess you could call salons something, but you know, there was really not much. There were a lot of business to business, cool, highly sought after businesses that were right along there. And there were accountants and there were dentists or whatever, but those people don't benefit from an outing, a business district event. They don't care. I mean, nobody really cares if you find an architect on that street, right? Or a designer on that street. So when we talk about getting events, we're really talking about drawing an audience into an area for the business to consumer people. And those are retail shops, and the retail shops should care. The restaurants should care, because those are the people that benefit from this. So I think that's kind of a helpful framework if we think of business to consumer and business to business, and they have different needs and different interests in their levels of participation.
Sure. Well, and I was going to say, Rebecca, you know, using your expertise, I mean, how many members are part of the chamber? And then how many really active members do you think you have? Just to put it in perspective, not necessarily in City of Webster Groves, but a different scope. I mean,
yeah. And then I guess I have to say my role is 3 municipalities, because we have Shrewsbury and Rock Hill, and I serve our membership. So I'm always looking to expand the membership. We have about 350 members, and we don't restrict it to 63119, although we encourage it. And if you're a board member, you should either live or have your business in 63119. But we don't exclude people that, let's say, they do window replacement and there isn't one in 63119. They have a great market here, so why shouldn't they be part of our chamber? Anyway, there's always only about 20% that are truly active. I mean, and people, at least for the chamber, they join for different reasons. You know, some just want to be in the annual guide and directory that goes to 14,000 people. and that's it. Some people just care about being part of the community and supporting it. Great. Whatever your thing is. And then people that are trying to build their business and want to meet as many people as possible, those are the people that generally show up at the events and volunteer their time and energy to create fun stuff. So, you know, it's the same thing. It's sort of an 80-20 rule, I guess.
Mm-hmm. That's good to know. I mean, I think, you know, when we're talking about unifying and being inclusive and everything like that, I mean, it's like you said, Andrew, it's great on paper, but, you know, the reality is we're not going to get, you know, 100% of people together to do anything. And so, yeah, I mean, we have to look at what our goal is. And, you know, I think being there for everybody and being a resource is a good goal. I think it would be fun to do an event, but at the same time, there are a lot of events that are going on that if we can figure out a way to get the businesses to know about them, the ones that aren't in their district, and to be active in it, you know, I think that's probably what we need to do.
I'm a big fan of scavenger hunts. You know, they drive curiosity. They drive a certain amount of exclusivity and excitement. And, you know, you get to solve mysteries. You go from place to place, you figure things out, you end up inside businesses. I don't think they're very expensive and they can unite a large group.
Yeah,
I love scavenger hunts. I think that's a great thing.
Yeah.
And that would cut across all different types of businesses, you know, architects, orthodontists, as
People
well as
that want
restaurant.
lead generation. People that want lead generation.
Well, it just makes people stop and look, you know, and be aware of what's out there.
Right.
And it's fun. People want fun.
They want fun. And people love to explore Webster. They like to have a chance to participate in as an outsider in the community.
I think that could be fun. And so,
You know, the public library did a scavenger hunt when they launched the book. It was a total St. Louis neighborhood scavenger hunt book. They did a book launch, and then they did a mini Webster Groves scavenger hunt over and above the book, what's in the book. And I have people calling the office, you know, where is there an ice cream store with a bear at the front door? And I had to think for a moment. Of course, we only have one ice cream store, so it wasn't too difficult. But the bear really threw me, and then I thought, and I said, oh, yeah. And I wouldn't tell her where it was. I said, I wouldn't tell her the name because I didn't want her to just fill in the blank. And I said, it's right next door to the Frisco Bar Room. Go there and you'll see it. So anyway, I think it's great. Anytime there's that.
Rebecca, it drives a certain level of awareness. You know, people start looking a little bit more carefully.
They do.
well, I think that's something that's, I don't want to say it's easy, but something that, you know, that we could do, that people could do on their own time. And it's not a matter of, you know, necessarily getting everybody together at, you know, one set period in time, that we could put something like that together, and then it could be like available through the city, and, you know, getting people indoors and stuff like that. So I think that could be fun.
I think that would be fun. And it would be cheap, and it wouldn't involve a lot of time, and you wouldn't need to get sponsors, but yet you could get some publicity.
Right. But it could also piggyback onto an already event, like if there's sidewalk sales going on, or some other seasonal idea. You know, Christmas probably maybe is the right time. It's already so much going on at Christmas. It'd be better to do it during a time of year when there's not as much going on and people are more outdoors. But you know, if it could be piggybacked onto something that would allow the joint business districts to want to participate and it be a Webster Groves thing, that would be the goal, as I see it.
Maybe a good next step with this would be to ask at the business district meetings, you know, who would be interested, if they could ask their districts, and then we shoot for like a 2 or 3 months out, so that we could figure out which businesses are interested in it. Also, reaching out to the non-business district businesses as well. Marshall Road, Watson.
So I'm in marketing and advertising, so I agree with you, but I think that showing up cold and saying, give me an idea who's participating isn't really going to yield the results you desire. But putting together some sort of a pitch will, because then people have a concept of what it is, or we all even have a concept of what it is. So I don't know, maybe I could spend some time on that if you'd like. And I don't know how fancy it would get, but just so there's something concrete, even if it's a one sheet that says, here's what's being considered. What do you think?
Yeah, I think like if you could put together like a one pager between now and the next meeting, and then we could review.
Well, it
that.
won't be that quick because my daughter's wedding reception is July 31st. And anything after August, I'm game for.
How about the August meeting? Let's
The
do it.
August meeting is a real possibility.
Well, and then that could set up for the scavenger hunt in the fall, which I think would be a
There
nice.
you go.
I do think Christmas is busy, and there's already a lot of events. I don't think that's really the time that the business district businesses need us to bring people
Right.
through the doors. But yeah, I think if we could shoot for something like in October, I think that
Right.
would be a good time to do it.
Yep, that has real possibility.
Okay.
You
Good
know,
deal.
there's just a reminder, there are 2 events already in October. Old Webster has their Walktoberfest that I believe they're going to do again this year, depending on planning. And then there is also the both districts, Old Orchard and Old Webster, do a Halloween candy
Yep.
at different businesses. And then last, or maybe 2 years ago, I know that Frisco Barroom / Civil Alchemy and those businesses in October also did something tied into the same weekend as the Halloween.
They kind of
So,
did like their sidewalk sale deal in the back parking lot, right?
yeah, there was this sort of sidewalk sale and they had a food truck and I think a band. So they do have both of those going on. The one that crosses between the two is the Halloween candy.
I saw on my calendar, I just flipped over to October, and I had written down a Porch Fest on October 3rd, a Sunday, October. I don't know if that's still happening, but that wouldn't conflict with Walktober or the Halloween thing if that's still happening.
I don't have a special activities permit for anything like that, so I'm not sure what that is.
Well,
Yeah,
they did it
those are
last
people-
year.
Yeah,
Oh.
those are people on their porches producing music and
Right.
walking around. It was lovely.
Even if it was last year, they still need to turn in a special activities permit. So Dave Buck was the one who organized it.
Right.
I have not seen anything from him.
All right, it's been on my calendar for a long time, so I don't know if it's still active.
What's
Yeah.
happening in September besides getting back to school?
We've got the Jazz Fest.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And the gazebo series.
Oh, I'm sorry, and the gazebo
Yeah.
series, because the gazebo series is pushed off. Normally it's in the summer and they've pushed it to July and into September. We also have Webster Arts is attempting to do some mini arts festivals in Gazebo Park. That'll be on the Old Orchard agenda coming up. They are asking for 3 weekends. Hold on. They're asking for 3 weekends in August. So mini Webster Arts festivals in August. We've got the Jazz Festival, or sorry, the Gazebo series still going on. We've got the concerts in Hawken House over by Southwest Park. I feel like I'm missing something else, Fran.
Mara, is there anywhere that we could view your calendar of events?
On the, well, they're not all of them are posted yet because they haven't been approved yet. But they are on the Explore Webster Groves Facebook page.
Okay, cool.
Does this have to be a one-day event? Can this be a week-long event or something like that?
That's what I
You
was
know,
thinking. Yeah.
That's a good idea. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Art Prize up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, but that's actually a whole month-long event, and it keeps bringing people downtown. It's an enormous event. The prize is $1 million, so it's
Woo.
in its own category altogether, but it's all art-driven, and it's a wonderful thing. But it gets people out and into the restaurants and into the shopping areas. People keep coming back down, so maybe I should think a little bit about what applicable pieces there could be about that, but
Eric,
Yeah.
can we get $1 million for that?
Well, it started a lot smaller. I've been to that event. It started a lot smaller, and there's no shame in either copying or drawing inspiration from things that are done in other regions.
that work.
I learned over the years, so that's a good way to think. And maybe I'll start thinking about that as well.
Yeah, thanks. That'd be great. Yeah.
Steal all the ideas you want, replicate them. $1 million is only if you raise your own taxes. So go.
Yeah, I'm a
Read.
litigation attorney. We choose our words very carefully, and semantics and connotations are very important. So steal is not an appropriate term.
Appropriate is.
Well, yeah, even that has, even that has negative connotations. I would say we were inspired by something.
There you go.
This is the
That's
politician.
one good example of something.
Steal the idea.
So that particular event is a good source of such inspiration. So we should think about that and others that we've seen in other regions.
Yeah.
Right.
Cece, do you want some help on putting that one page
That is so good to hear about your surgery.
for something like this?
Period.
Who's talking?
That's okay. Hold on.
Well,
Bye.
it sounds like Andrew's interested. Yeah, I mean, what kind of help are we talking about? The way that things work like this in my world is you put something down, people, you pencil it in further and then you run with it.
Yeah, just getting together for, whether it's like a, phone call or a face-to-face coffee and, putting this together and doing something between now and, that August meeting, end of August. So after July, but.
Yeah. Well, Andrew, would you be interested?
In working on a subcommittee for a event.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
I would too.
Okay.
It would be worth talking with Holland Saltzman at the Novel Neighbor. I know that this was more of a national event, but for a couple years in a row, she did do a Where's Waldo event. And Waldo was given to various locations around the city. And you had to go find where Waldo was. And I know that our Waldo at City Hall is actually still in the window of City Hall. He's got a mask on now. But if you come into City Hall, you can find him. He's actually taped to one of the front windows in the lobby. So it might be worth talking to her because that was a mini scavenger hunt. And we did she had Waldos to give to various businesses, and it did cross over multiple districts.
What was her name?
Holland Saltzman. She's the owner of the Novel Neighbor, and she's on the Old Orchard taxing district.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that'll be good. Anything else that we want to talk about as far as on the old business, the working group subcommittee recommendations? I mean, I think that's a good start, and I think that's something that's very feasible we can do. And I looking through a lot of them, I think a lot of these cross-reference with Jenny and Jennifer and what they're working on. And so maybe if we could get an update from them potentially next month. Do you think they'll have some stuff for us, Mara, by then?
So technically the budget year for that doesn't start till July 1. We can check and see.
Okay.
But yeah, the budget just got approved, which included those items. So I'll check with them, and we can definitely, I'll put here and Fran will note it. She'll confirm whether we have something available for the next meeting. I would assume the August meeting would be definitive, that they'd have at least some sort of update. I'm a little wary about July.
I understand. Okay. Well, anything else on the subcommittee recommendations then, or should we move on to, I don't even know if we really have any new business. We've been working on that for the for the last few months. And so. But anything else on the working group recommendations, or should we move on to business district updates? All right, business district updates it is.
So there's not all that much. I know Old Webster just met. We had an update about street dance. They had a really good turnout for street dance, even despite the storm that came, and then there was potentially a second storm. But they had a really good turnout for the street dance, which is showing that it looks like it's going to be quite a good year for Jazz Festival. The Old Orchard, they're still holding on their streetscape because of product being able to come in for the light poles. So hopefully the contractor should be able to get started at the end of the summer for that streetscape to move forward. Crossroads did not meet. They do have money that was in the budget approved by the city council for them to work on a streetscape. And so they are roaring gung-ho and ready to try to get moving on this streetscape. They've been trying to get funding for it for a number of years from the, more the federal funds, and weren't able to, and that's why they pursued asking the city council to put it in their budget. So I think that's those three. Fran, I don't think I'm missing anything on either of those. That's pretty much it. It's summer
typical for this time of year.
Yeah. Summer is usually a little slower for the business districts for updates.
Sure. What about any city updates as far as, anything new coming along as far as?
Quite a few things. Let me give you a couple updates. So I know I was trying to look back through. I think we spent so much time last month with discussing the working group that we didn't really go through a bunch of the newest businesses. So I'm going to just briefly go through a few of them that I can't remember when we last gave you an update. So Cake Shop and Pop Shop and Boozy Bites is opened, so please go patronize them. Union Bagel is still under construction. Le Macaron, the windows are kind of there. It's any day now. They really have had their final inspections, and I know he's trying to finalize a few things. DD Mao, I haven't driven by to see. They were still finalizing things with their inspection, so I have not checked on that. Wingstop is under construction in Yorkshire Plaza. Zushi, a new sushi restaurant, is under construction in Yorkshire Plaza. Total Access Urgent Care did their demolitions and are starting their construction probably any day now. We're issuing permits this week. There's a new interior design firm going in where the next to Dewey's Pizza, where the cleaners used to be. It's interior design firm called Eurotrash. So you'll see some updates. They're doing a lot of interior work on it. There's a new comic book store going in where the Gymboree used to be, around the corner from Cyrano's. It's called Betty's Book, and they've got construction undergoing on the interior of that space. Rolling Ridge Nursery got a CUP for their Willow in Webster, which is they're going to have event space or be able to use some of their existing spaces in the off hours for events, for classes, for other small meeting space. And so they had anticipated, with some work that they still need to do, that they would probably start leasing out their space for the events in the fall. Patterson Performing Arts applied for a CUP. It's a music lessons in the Webster Groves Presbyterian Church in Old Webster. They have their final reading at the council meeting coming up. And we have a CUP in for Play Days, which is a daycare center that's moving out of the First Congregational Church in Old Webster. They are looking to go into an area out on Marshall. It's a little complicated with that one because normally daycares in commercial districts don't need a CUP, but they don't have any parking. And so they do need a CUP if they don't have the required parking. So they'll be going forward with that. We also have a text amendment for multifamily, code amendment for multifamily uses that can be built in existing commercial districts, so the C and D district. Right now, multifamily needs either a CUP or a full rezoning. So you can't have the mixed use. That's pretty logical in our districts. And you can't necessarily automatically have multifamily, in something that's zone D on the backside of commercial or above the commercial. So we have a code amendment that's gone through 3 months of meetings with the Plan Commission, moved forward with a recommendation to the City Council. The City Council will have a public hearing on it starting July 6th. And then for those that have not heard, we do have a proposition going before on the August election. It is regarding the 2-family code amendment that the City Council passed a short time ago. It was passed that in our code already, in our A4 zoning, you could have 2-family, but there were restrictions that essentially restricted it to almost no blocks within the city. And so the code amendment removed some of those restrictions, but still required minimum certain lot sizes, width of lot, as well as parking requirements to be met. And the overall square footage was still about the same size as a single family house, so kept in the same character and overall volumetric space of other houses within the community. That had a referendum that did meet the requirements of a referendum. The City Council then voted not to overturn the ordinance, which made it go to the election. So that you will be seeing things on the city website. There's question and answers available. If anyone has any questions about things that they've heard or information that they might not understand. So you can find that on the website. There's also videos by various council members as to why they voted for the amendment and the language. If you want the amendment to stay in place to continue to allow 2-family structures, you actually vote no. And if you want to overturn it, you vote yes. So that language is on there. There will be a card going out, I believe, in the mail quite soon. And again, if there's additional information, you can go to the city's website, the city's Facebook page. Information is there. And I always tell people I can answer questions if they have more clarification needed. I think that's everything. I feel like there's something else I'm missing. We have a number of other code amendments we had in the works. My staff for development wise, we in the new budget year, were able to pick up, actually, we have 2 new positions in my department because we are so busy. So I just hired a new inspector. In addition to the inspectors I already had, he started on Monday. And then I have another position for a permit technician to help process paperwork and keep us moving. Normally we say we're 5 to 10 business days out on our review of permits and things like that. We're more like 12 to 15 business days out. We are so slammed with work, with new projects, new construction, additions. So that's keeping us pretty busy. And as you can tell, I mean, a lot of other cities were slow with new businesses, and you heard our list of new businesses opening. We're still moving pretty briskly. If there's any other questions.
It's so encouraging, having been on this committee a long, long time, is how many new businesses are retail and some sort of edibles. And we used to grumble about, and Mara, you probably remember it, and definitely Fran, there was a time where all the street level businesses became insurance and real estate and design firms, and of course, no business to consumer, but business to business in general. And this is really heartening, to see all these exciting new businesses come in.
It's very cool.
Yeah, I agree. They should be good for all the existing businesses as far as bringing people, into the districts, and they're fun and exciting.
I am just champing at the bit to have macarons and the French candies and chocolates and cakes. And I was peeking in the window yesterday. I was like, come on, let's open.
Oh, good.
We need to support him. We all need to support him, and I'll make sure our membership does too, because he's been a long time getting open,
Oh, yeah,
long time.
for sure. So, Rebecca, do you have any updates with anything with the chamber at all?
Man, we are just slammed with, events now. Oh my God, we're working on the heart of the community. Santa's on the loose. Economic development breakfast with 11 other chambers, and our golf tournament. I mean, those are just the majors. And we're doing our next lunch, July 15th, is going to be a barbecue in Ivory Crockett Park. So we're excited about that. And the chamber is really looking to increase the diversity of our membership. So that's been a big goal of our president, Nikki Lemley.
Good deal. That's great. Anybody else have anything that, that we want to talk about? I mean, how's that next meeting? I know before some people came on, we were talking about how sometimes the summer ones get a little spotty with people traveling and stuff like that. Does anybody know they will not be able to make that July 22nd meeting?
It'll work for me.
Good deal.
I got a jury notice yesterday for,
Uh-oh.
but I
Uh-oh.
think it ends mid-August, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully there won't be me sitting in a foreign jury. somewhere.
Oh,
So I will not be here, but I'm sure Eric can handle next month's meeting. We actually, I know that the city council canceled the meeting that same week to take a break. So that is when I'm taking off.
Good deal. Good for you. So, all right. Well,
I failed to mention, we also have a Coffee and Connections in Old Webster on July 9th. It'll be at Story 7, 8 to 9 a.m. Just come in, pre-register if you want, so she has enough coffee on our website. But otherwise, that's a great opportunity to connect. We have lots of retailers lined up for the next couple of months, and most of them in Old Webster. So everyone's welcome. And Mike, thank you for coming last time.
no problem. It was fun. It was good to see you and good to meet some business owners I didn't already know. So had a good time. But well, good deal. Well, if that's all, then let's go ahead and adjourn, and we'll see everybody next month. So, sound good?
Okay.
All right.
That's good.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of the week. Okay.